Now, we do have 20 minutes here, boys. We can still get all the points in, but let's just not go ridiculous. So let's start. Dan, set the table. What is your ugly point?
I think that if T1 doesn't make it to Worlds, same as either KC doesn't make it to Worlds, it's going to, first of all, invalidate the tournament a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And secondly, I think it's going to really hurt the viewership.
Sure. Ooh. Expand a bit. Go on, give me a reason why.
Well, it's the entire year has kind of been like T1 against Genji, right? Or like kind of like AL is a little bit up there as well.
Yeah.
As like every final is kind of like, ooh, Genji against T1, and it was always like pretty close. It was like 3-2, and there's always these like, oh, who's better, Guma or Ruler, and no one can really get like an answer. And there's like, Faker or Chovy. Yeah, Chovy's better in lane, but Faker's the GOAT, you know. And now I think they're playing play-ins against the 4th seed Chinese team was like Weibo or IG or something like this. If they lose, Faker's not at Worlds. I mean, let's say Genji wins, pretty high chance. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's always going to be this like haunting thing of like, I mean, Chovy won Worlds, but like Faker wasn't in a tournament, and
that's true.
Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I think it might be also like pretty bad because Faker's always been the poster boy, right?
Sure.
And I don't know who the next poster boy for League's going to be. Maybe Kalist, who knows? But yeah, if your poster boy's not at Worlds, it's going to suck for whoever's going to win because it's like, well, you won, but like T1 wasn't there, so yeah.
Ooh, so I'd say for this, T1 have basically put themselves in this situation. But
I mean, yeah, of course, you know. Like,
but what I would say is that they are playing the 4th. So the thing about T1 is that they're always the China killers, right? They're always the team that beats the team from China. So if there was a team from China that was able to finally get like one over T1, I think that would give you the story. That would give you something, right? It's not like they're not contributing anything, right? But I think that would be a big storyline. But yeah, obviously it's always fun to have T1 at Worlds because when they do badly or whether they do well, different parts of the fan base get to have a lot of fun about it. What I would say though is the way that LCK have done their qualifying system. This is unfortunately just how it's worked, you know. I mean, if anything, I blame KT. It's always KT's fault, you know. KT and the team who should be the 4th seed over the course of this year, they somehow won that series, and now they're in the position. So you know, maybe we blame KT for this, but you know, I think that yes, I agree with everything you're saying, but I think T1 not being at Worlds will give other stars the chance to shine. The only disadvantage I think is if Genji win. I think if HLE win Worlds, beating
Zeus is gonna be so happy.
like okay, so obviously, you know, even if you're a T1 hater, you should still want T1 to be at Worlds, right? Like if you think T1 are rubbish, like just having them lose to a Western team is like the biggest humiliation. Like if you love seeing T1 fans suffer, you want them to be at Worlds, right? If you support T1, obviously you want to see T1 at Worlds, right? So let's just say if we don't see T1 at Worlds, right? And Genji win the tournament, I think that's question mark. If HLE win the tournament, I think that tells you something, right? I don't think it's as bad if HLE win. I think it's bad if Knight or Chovy win and Faker isn't there. I agree, but I think if BLG or Genji win, but I think for the others, I think it gives other people a chance to take the limelight. And if anything, we then go from, instead of Faker being the big bad boss that the fans think that he is, it becomes Chovy or it becomes Knight. Then and somebody beats those guys, then I think you've still got a good storyline. But if those guys win, then I think that you always have an asterisk. I think, in my opinion.
I do in general agree. Like, first of all, in theory, just T1. If you actually want to be really cynical, if you want max viewership, you just want the most popular teams in the world. So, yes, of course, you want T1 from Korea, and you want KC from Europe, and you want all these teams. In theory, you'd even want probably like Team Liquid as well, or Cloud9 if you could have had them from America as well. You'd want all the teams that have the biggest viewership base, and then you'd also want them to have the great players there. I agree with that too. Like, I know what you mean. Put it this way, I'd even go one further. I think if you have Chovy, finally win Worlds and you're a Chovy fan, you shouldn't just want Faker to be in the tournament. Ideally, you should want him to beat him in the playoffs, like what could have happened last year. That's the best storyline to do what you want, which is the transfer of power, and he's now the real GOAT candidate, and he even beat him head. Like, that's actually just a better storyline too. Whereas if instead you beat like KT Rolster in a quarterfinal, who gives a fuck about that? You know, no one will remember that. Sorry, they won't. Like, it won't have the same ripple across history. Then also, I will say, there is one set of people, though, that will enjoy T1 going into this decider match and then losing, which is my people. We're a hidden tribe. We're called rookie fans. If you're a rookie fan, you hope IG plays that game and knocks Faker out of getting into fucking Worlds right in 2025 and goes, right, that's that taken care of. And then it's the only time they've ever played the International BO5. So you go, right, there you go, 1-0. That's the end of their careers. They never play again. Guess we know who's better. Not really, but that will be the angle I'll use to fucking torch all the Faker fans. So there's that part. I actually agree on the European angle too. I do think as well, it sucks for the narrative of both Europe in terms of like developing more talent and Kalist directly. If he only plays first stand, which remember was scoffed at the beginning and then they just made it through that bizarre, like everyone was losing to each other and they got to the final off beating CF4. That's not as cool as if he makes the playoffs and Worlds or if he has a series against like, by the way, the obvious ones you should want. This is, by the way, if you're a Europe fan, you should love KT's going. There's a world Kalist could actually beat like Docdan, mate. Like, there's players out there, it's not impossible. He's not going to do it against fucking Ruler, probably. Yeah, but again, you put him against some of these people, you'd have a chance. I also think that's why for KC as well, it's such a bummer they had to miss EWC and MSI. They only got the one international tournament. It's the one that right now, because it never existed before and it's such a small format, no one really cares about that one, I'm sorry. We did at the moment because it was all we had to watch, but the second that went away, some people I think forget it even exists. Like, it doesn't even feel like it was one. Like, the joke is EWC is more competitive than that, even though it's not in the Riot circuit. So I think it's a good point to make. That would be an ugly. That's why I like that you put it in ugly as well, not good or bad. I think you've nailed it. I go then, Peter.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.